Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh All, your host today. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's week is getting off to a much better start than mine. Whatever this flu crud thing going around is, it hit me hard this weekend. I had the 1-year-old had it a while ago, and then the 5-year-old got it, and then my wife got it, and I was so nervous because I was like, man, I see my future coming to me here. Maybe I'll be lucky and I'll be able to miss this thing. Well, it did not miss me. So I am dealing with the flu. It is horrible, but hey, life goes on, the week goes on, and we've got a mock draft episode to talk about here today because if you guys are paying attention on social media toward the end of last week and over the weekend, there has been a lot of talk, a lot of push. Maybe push isn't necessarily the right word, but a lot of reasonable arguments for why the Browns could and maybe even should consider drafting Ohio State safety Caleb Downs at 6. Now, if you guys have watched the show, you know me, Blake, Justin, no. Do not be doing any defense, guys. Not in the first round. Come on. Those first 4 picks in the top 70 need to be offensive players. This offense is terrible. And, but now people are really starting to hone in on this whole best player available. And if you have Caleb Downs as this generational elite level safety prospect that you can plug into your defense from day one, and I understand the arguments for it. And I'm not saying I agree. As you guys know, I'm still very much let's go get some offense first. But I've got another episode coming up later this week. I think it'll be this week, where I went through and I really broke down the Cleveland Browns roster, position by position, and I listed out who the players at each position are that are still on the roster, still have contracts under contract, who the free agents, the guys who are set to expire this offseason, the exclusive right free agents, the practice squad players, all that kind of stuff. And from doing that exercise, I have come to the realization that this Cleveland Browns team desperately needs everything. It sucks to look at from that sort of perspective. But again, we'll get to that episode later this week, and I'll bring those names and everything to you guys. But it's bad at every position. At every position, it's weak. So the Browns literally need to add players everywhere. And we'll go to safety just for the sake of this argument. The only players the Browns have currently under contract at the safety position, Grant Delpit, Chris Edmonds, and Donovan McMillan. That's it. Those are your safeties under contract for the Cleveland Browns currently in 2026. You've got restricted free agent Ronnie Hickman, and then you've got set to become free agents Rayshon Jenkins and Trey Avery. So it's not crazy to think that the Browns would have a thought of taking a top safety or the top safety in this draft. So basically what I want to do here today, I'm going to go through my mock draft and what it would look like if the Browns did take Caleb Downs at pick number 6, okay? So we're going to go through the mock draft, and then I've got a couple voicemails on the backside of this, so stay tuned, hang out for that. We'll talk about a couple things. Oh, and of course, another message from my biggest fan, Vinty, is coming up as well after the mock draft. Before I get into this, make sure you guys go to jointhedogs.com if you want to be part of the Dog Pack community, get into the 24/7 conversation going on there, sync up with the private Discord. It's a great way to support the show and just hang out with other diehard Browns fans from around the world. We did the Dog Pack Discord episodes live each week. We're trying to do them each week in there with being sick and stuff. It's just, it has thrown a wrench into the whole schedule here, but we will push on. So jointhedogs.com. Okay. Mock Draft 4.0, the Caleb Downs at 6 edition on the Dogs Podcast. So, of course, here at Pick 6, we know what we're doing. The Browns decide, you know what, screw it. We're taking best player available, taking Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. He's 6 foot 6 feet tall, 205 pounds. Caleb Downs has received first-round premonitions from the general consensus ever since he set foot on Alabama's campus as a 5-star recruit. An instant producer at the CFB level, Downs was a star for the Crimson Tide defense in 2023. And then again for Ohio State's championship caliber unit in 2024 and 2025. Downs' raw production underwhelms in comparison to his prestige, but don't let that fool you. On film, he's one of the best safety prospects in recent memory and is a blue chip player in the 2026 NFL draft class. A fluid, explosive, and energized mover at 6 feet 205, Downs is special in the box with his combined mobility, play pace, angle IQ, and physicality on blockers. He's an expert at running alleys, scraping through contact, and securing solo tackles, and his instant reaction to stimulus ensures he's always responsive on plays. And while his raw production and coverage makes him easy to overlook in space, his coverage game is just as exhilarating. Downs is an uber instinctive cover man who can swiftly process route combinations, manage route relationships, transition with ease, and clamp down on stems from different alignments. He's the consummate glue guy with a cosmic football IQ and the versatility to play 2-high, single-high in the box as a rover, and even as a big nickel in off-man and zone. Positional value will be discussed with Downs. But regardless, he has all the hallmarks of a future All-Pro who instantly makes a defense better. Again, these write-ups are courtesy of Pro Football Network. And I got to tell you that as an Ohio State fan, of course, I've watched every single game that Caleb Downs has played in Columbus. He is the real deal. He is legit. So that's why if the Browns decide to go this route, I wouldn't be mad. I can't be mad whenever you add this type of player to a team that's got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and already Grant Delpit, Carson Schlesinger, Mason Graham, these guys, Tyson Campbell. This makes the defense instantly better, and it's already one of the better defenses in the league. So that's it for Caleb Downs. He goes number 6 here in this mock draft to the Cleveland Browns. So then moving on, how am I going to attack the rest of this mock draft? Having allocated the first pick, the top pick, pick 6 overall, to a safety on defense, something I really have not been advocating for at all this entire time. Okay, so pick 24 then. Do I go wide? Because now it's like we got to attack the offense, guys. Do we go wide receiver? Do we go offensive line? And I got to tell you, there is a guy that I have been rising on that I think could be a really good fit for the Browns, and I think you could instantly plug him in day one at your left tackle position, and it's Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, left tackle, though he did play both, out of Georgia, 6'6", 315 pounds. Monroe Freeling declared for the 2026 NFL Draft as a true junior, and he'll assuredly be in the mix for an early round selection at the offensive tackle spot. A former highly touted recruit, Freeling towers at almost 6'7", 315 pounds with an overwhelming 84-inch wingspan. And he distinguishes himself as an excellent athlete at that size with menacing power capacity. He's extremely quick off the ball with exceptional overall proportions, a stable center of gravity, and logic-defying flexibility and leverage acquisition skills at his size. His hand usage palette is still fairly basic at this stage. He can win more often than not with his sheer athleticism and his reach. But still, Freeling has an incredibly strong foundation of inherent athleticism and soft skills. He's angle sound and disciplined in the run game, and in time, he can grow to become an impact starter across both phases. So this is a younger type of offensive tackle, lesser experience. I think he only started 16 games in college. But there's no doubt this kid's got the athletic traits that NFL teams are going to salivate over. And when the whole draft process started, he was a guy that you were kind of finding in that early to mid second round and everything, but he is definitely climbing up draft boards. And I don't think it's crazy to think that he is a first round pick come April. And here the Browns take him in the first round at pick 24. So moving on then to pick 39, this is where a lot of these players. Again, if you guys are new to this, I use Mock Draft Database to look at where players are being mocked, like their aggregate draft position across all the industry mocks. So that's where I'm getting my numbers from and my information to see who should be or could be available within a range of where the Browns pick. So at pick 39, this is a guy that I took in my last mock draft, but I took him at 70 because he was being mocked on average at pick 65. He is now being mocked on average at pick 45. Just a week and a half later, he has gone up that much. Don't be surprised if this guy ends up in the back of the first round by the time it's all said and done. But right here at pick 39, I'm taking, once again, Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana. 6 feet, 201. He had 69 receptions, 937 yards, and 13 touchdowns this year for Indiana. Omar Cooper Jr. is one half of Indiana's dynamic duo at wide receiver, and like his teammate Elijah Surratt, it's entirely possible he's off the board within the top 100 picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. At 6 feet, 201, Cooper is a dense, compact pass catcher with a low center of gravity and effortless explosiveness and vertical stretching. He can extend seams as a rack threat with his range and contact balance, and he has the quickness and prying strength to work through adjacent contact, but he also flashes great salesmanship and tempo control as a route runner. Drops can be an issue on occasion for Cooper, and he has room to keep refining his route tree in the intermediate range, but overall, he's a budding 3-level threat with a particular affinity for rack accumulation and vertical advances. The drops thing I find interesting. He only had 3 drops this past season, so maybe they're pulling that from prior years, which I don't have those numbers readily available. But this past year, just 3 drops, and I think that gave him, 4.2% drop rate. So he's got a 2.55 yards per route run. He's got everything that I'm looking for in a wide receiver, and I think that he can come in and be a legit dog for this Browns offense. So then, pick 70, I am sticking with offense, and I'm going back to my alma mater. I'm taking another Ohio State Buckeye. At pick 70, it's Max Clare, the tight end out of Ohio State, 6'4", 240 pounds. Max Clare took his talents from West Lafayette to Columbus this year, suiting up for the Ohio State Buckeyes after a standout 2024 season with the Purdue Boilermakers. Took him a few weeks to get a rhythm, but Clare eventually delivered a quality year at Ohio State, catching 43 passes for 448 yards and 2 touchdowns. Clare's production naturally inspires confidence, and his tape generates further NFL draft excitement. At 6'4", 240 pounds, Clare is an instinctive receiving threat with the burst, quickness, flexibility, and spatial IQ to separate independently. He has smooth body control as a catcher and is an aggressive rack threat who uses overwhelming leg churn and lower body action to drive through would-be tacklers. Clare's pass-catching profile is extremely appealing, and his immediate blocking versatility and utility upside further magnifies that appeal. While Clare has room to add on more mass at the NFL level, he's a versatile run game asset who can block inline, acquire leverage, drive his legs, keep gap integrity, and fulfill his assignments with reliability. Again, watched every snap for Max Clare this year, and for tight ends generally in college, you're not looking for this overwhelming production because it just doesn't normally happen. I mean, obviously we had Harold Fannin Jr. last year go absolutely berserk for Bowling Green, but he's also not a traditional inline blocking type of tight end. So he's a little bit different, and that's what the Browns need. The Browns have got to figure out what they're doing at tight end because, again, if we go look at the tight end position, the episode I want to do for you guys later this week, the only tight end, only one tight end we have under contract for 2026 is Harold Fannin Jr. That's it. We don't have anybody else. David Njoku's a free agent. We already know he's not coming back. We have reserve future deals in with Sal Cannella and Caden Prescorn. We have a restricted free agent with Blake Whiteheart, an exclusive right free agent with Brendan Bates. These are not guys that inspire confidence for me, especially with Todd Monken running a lot of 12 personnel. You think about what he had in Baltimore. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely is very similar. The way he was used, his skill set, what he's good at, what he wins with. That's a lot of what Harold Fannin does. But then Mark Andrews is your inline blocking tight end who they can also go out and catch passes and be a weapon in the passing game. That's what the Browns need. They're losing that with David Njoku. They've got to get somebody in here to replace that role. And for me, we get it here at pick 70 with Max Clare out of Ohio State.
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, Alumagard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
All right, moving on, pick 107. This is one of Barry Shuck's guys from the Senior Bowl that I'm very high on as well. And I would love to see the Browns at 107 take Austin Barber, the offensive tackle out of Florida, 6'7", 318. Austin Barber is one of the more seasoned 2026 NFL Draft offensive line prospects. Entering the 2025 season, he started 26 games at the CFB level, with reps at both left and right tackle. That's big. And he added 12 more starts at left tackle in his final season. With his experience, he's adopted a level of comfort and pass protection that few ascending offensive tackles can match. At 6'5", 314 with stellar length and proportional mass, Barber passes the ideal size thresholds, and he's an explosive, nimble athlete who covers ground with ease out of his stance. Both in his stance and when matching, Barber's flexibility and easy knee bend helps him acquire leverage, and he can load and re-exert to maximize force on his punches. He's still learning how to channel full power in the run game, as well as how to properly anchor and keep upper-lower sync on passing downs, but he has eventual starting upside and left-right versatility as a swing tackle in the immediate timeline. So there we go. We get ourselves another offensive tackle, this one, Austin Barber, out of Florida. Moving on, pick 139, we're taking cornerback Tacario Davis out of Washington, 6'4", 200 pounds. Tacario Davis looked like a future top 50 pick coming off a standout 2023 campaign that saw him put up 15 pass breakups and an interception. His 2024 season, however, saw him experience a sharp regression. Davis transferred from Arizona to Washington in the 2025 offseason. Following former Arizona head coach Jed Fish and his former teammate Ephesians Prysock. What a name. In a familiar scheme and familiar surroundings, Davis enjoyed a return to prominence, achieving a strong PFSN cornerback impact score of 87.3 while allowing an opposing passer rating of just 52.5 per True Media. At 6'4", 190 pounds, with over 33-inch arms, Davis's size can overwhelm the opposition. And at his size, he has excellent burst, short area quickness, processing in zone, and press man matching ability. As one might expect, Davis does experience slight fluidity and sync limitations with his build, and he doesn't quite have elite long speed or vertical range, but nevertheless, in schemes that marry cover 3, side saddle, and press man based on situational factors, Davis stands out as an ideal mid-round target with experience, technical versatility, playmaking reach, and proactivity and a solid, dependable run support profile. Again, Browns got to do something at cornerback. I think Tacario Davis to be a nice addition. You got that big body type guy, 6'4", 200. He's a physical tackler. That type of cornerback would fit well, especially because we don't know what's going to happen with Martin Emerson. He is slated to be a free agent. Coming off of his injury, we don't know if he'll be back, if the Browns will re-sign him, if he'll want to come back. Maybe he'll want to test free agency. The only players we have under contract, Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, Miles Harden, and Dom Jones. That's your cornerback group right now. So the Browns are going to need to be looking to add at cornerback, whether it's in free agency or in the draft. So here we take Tacario Davis out of Washington. 2 picks left. Pick 144 is going to be Lander Barton, the linebacker out of Utah. Lander Barton, 6'4", 233. He returned for his senior season at Utah as a big linebacker with outstanding size, range, and versatility that make him projectable across multiple defensive schemes. Renowned as a sure tackler and highly effective run defender, Barton's intelligence and athleticism enable him to handle various roles, including coverage responsibilities, even if he has some limitations in man coverage and moving backward. While his excellent size, movement skills, and technique point to an every down NFL potential, Finding more consistent ways to defeat blocks will be key for him to take that next step. With refinement, Barton profiles as a scheme-diverse, reliable starter in the pros. I think Leander Barton would be a nice addition to our linebacker room, a nice player to have alongside Carson Schlesinger and whoever else we bring into this room, because again, just giving you guys all the previews for these positional breakdowns. Our linebacker room currently is Carson Schlesinger and Easton Mascarenas-Arnold and F1 Ulafashio and Buki Watson coming off IR. That's your linebacker group. JOK's on the pup. Everybody else is slated to be free agents. So the Browns got to do something at linebacker as well. We cannot solely focus only on offensive positions because, again, like I'll show you guys later in the week, the defense is hurting too. It really is at a lot of these spots. But speaking of offense, we move into pick 147, and we're going to take Eric McAllister, a wide receiver out of TCU. I really like Eric McAllister. He's a guy that I've been doing a lot more study on here recently, and I'm growing a lot higher on McAllister. Now, I'm going to go through a lot of stuff here, but I need you guys to understand. He is a receiver who could have been, I'm trying to think how best I want to say this, could have been in first round conversations, maybe early to mid second round conversations, had he not had some off-field legal situations. But here we go. We're going to talk about this. 6'3", 205, Eric McAllister had 72 receptions, 1,190 yards, and 10 touchdowns in 2025. He was named third team All-American, first team All-Big 12, and he was a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award, which goes to the best receiver in the country. Mekhi Lemon ended up winning that. He's a big, strong receiver who can get vertical in a hurry. He has legit long speed. His ball tracking is incredible. Great adjustment to throws. Great hands. Physical runner after the catch. He'll break tackles and then just keep going. He's a throw it up to him, let him go get it kind of receiver. He's got a great feel for the soft spots in zone coverage, knows how to get open for his quarterback. So again, that all sounds amazing. This sounds like a great prospect. Why are we getting him in the 5th round? I already mentioned it's because of his off-field legal situation. So in 2024, he had an altercation, I believe it was at a Whataburger restaurant in Texas, where I don't know all the specifics. I haven't gone that far into it yet, but he had an altercation with another guy and he pulled a gun on him. And so he got hit with a felony gun charge and threat with a deadly weapon, something like that. I forget. So then he was put on 2 years probation when it was all said and done or whatever. And then he got nailed for, or failed a drug test for marijuana a few months later. And it was just a kind of a bad situation for the kid. And it was one of those moments for some athletes where it's like, this is probably the end. Like, you're probably not coming back from it. You've made some mistakes. You got to go get some help. And the whole football career, you're going to have to just put this thing on hold. He did not. Eric McAllister did not. He actually, I found some quotes from him, and some teammates and coaches said that he really took his off-field incidents to heart and was determined to learn from them, to put them behind him. He went on to have this Biletnikoff finalist season in 2025, set all sorts of records for TCU wide receivers, like receiving records. He's got a ton of them now. And they were going into their bowl game at the end of the season, and their starting quarterback decided to enter the transfer portal. So he was gone. He was gone before they played their bowl game, and everybody kind of assumed that Eric McAllister, who had this incredible 2025 season, was definitely going to be going to the combine and all the scouting things and going to be drafted into the NFL. They thought, well, he's not going to play in this bowl game. It's meaningless. He's not going to risk hurting himself or something for the NFL. And instead, he actually got up in front of the entire TCU team and through his support behind their backup quarterback, a kid I don't think had ever played before, and said, I'm coming out here. I got his back. We've all got his back. Whatever. Like, we're playing this game. And so he rallied the troops behind this quarterback, this backup, and they went out in the bowl game and they actually beat USC 30-27. So people will, the coaches and teammates are pointing to that as like, look at his leadership, look at what he's done. And there was a lot of other examples, but I'm not going to dive into that stuff right now because I want this to be brief. I've already talked about it longer than I need to, but in the 5th round, again, with legal stuff, you got to take it on a case-by-case basis. You know, last year it was Isaiah Bond, fell all the way out of the entire draft, but his stuff was like actually pending, and it was ongoing during the draft process and everything, so nobody drafted him. What happened with McAllister is already done. Like, it's behind him. And for me, in the 5th round, the talent, it's worth investing in, because I'm not saying he's going to be the same type of player, but I do get some Josh Gordon vibage from this kid. The size, the speed, the hands, just the way he's physical. I don't know. And we know that Josh Gordon had some legal stuff going on, and he had reasons why he fell to the supplemental draft and all that. So we'll just leave it there. But here, I think it would be really great for the Browns at pick 147 to get Eric McAllister, the wide receiver, out of TCU. So that wraps up mock draft 4.0. Again, I'm only doing rounds 1 through 5 for the Browns. I'm not going into those 6th-round picks for the Browns yet because, again, I don't think we'll probably have them. And if we do, we'll talk about it later. But right now, and the thing is, I see a lot of these mock drafts that people post online where the Browns are drafting 14, 15, 16 people. Everybody's trading back and collecting picks. And look at this draft I put together. We're not drafting 16 guys, okay? That would be insane. We had, I think, 14 rookies playing on this roster last season. They're not going to add 16 of them and have over half the roster be rookies or second-year players. That's just insane. So, and a lot of those players are 4th, 5th round, 6th round picks. You're not going to do that. So we're going to stick to these first 8 picks for the Browns for the time being when I do these mock drafts. Going back to the beginning just to recap. Pick 6, Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. Pick 24, Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia. Pick 39 is Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver out of Indiana. Pick 70, Max Clare, the tight end out of Ohio State. Pick 107 is Austin Barber, offensive tackle out of Florida. Pick 139 is Takario Davis, cornerback out of Washington. And pick 144 is Lander Barton, the linebacker out of Utah. And we end with pick 147, Eric McAllister, the wide receiver out of TCU. So let me know what you guys think about this mock draft. If the Browns were to, go Caleb Downs at 6, like a lot of people are talking about right now, would this mock draft, the results of this type of thing, be more encouraging? Would you be happier that we went a defensive player, the top defensive player at pick 6? Or do you still just want to bypass that altogether? Stick with wide receivers and offensive line in that first round and let the defensive players come later on in the draft. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to take a quick break, and on the other side, voicemails and Venti. This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the NFL draft? And in other sports, will the Cavs make the NBA playoffs? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right? All right, guys, thank you for bearing with me today. I don't know if it sounds like it in the recording, how it's coming through. My voice feels to me, it just sounds so nasally and just gunky, and I feel like absolute trash right now. If you guys can't tell, if you can see my face at all, it probably looks red and sweaty because I just can't. I'm sick. I am sick and it sucks. And it is what it is. We're going to get over it and I'll be better. I just appreciate you guys tuning in and still listening to this stuff. So the first voicemail here is from one of our great Dog Pack members. This is from Thrilla from Canada.
Hey guys, Thriller from Canada. Just listened to your last episode, who will be the next DC. In regards to the draft, if Carnell Tate is on the board and Andrew Berry takes an offensive tackle, I will lose my fucking mind. And the reason for that is we don't have a WR1. We need a wide receiver 1. Those guys, you can't find them in free agency, which means they're going to have to trade. And why not take a wide receiver at 6 and then look for that OT later in the draft, or free agency where you can find them. And those guys, you can get somebody in that can replace the bunch of tackles that are going to be not on our team anymore, and have and kind of work the offensive line that way. But my God, if we miss out on Carnell Tate because Andrew Berry takes a tackle, I'll lose it. I will be so pissed. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thrilla, I don't disagree with you at all, buddy. I want Carnell Tate so bad. If I'm doing a mock draft, that's like, this is my mock draft. This is what I want it to be. It's Carnell Tate at 6, okay? The drafts that I see people posting online, if they got Carnell Tate at 6, I'm interested. If it's not, I'm like, well, let me see what else did you do in that draft. But Carnell Tate, I really do think he's going to end up being a legitimate wide receiver 1 in the NFL. I think he's got it. He's going to be a dog, and I want him to be on the Browns. So I'm with you, Thrilla, if he's on the board. And that's a big if, honestly, because you've got teams ahead of us in the top 5 that do need wide receivers. Would the Titans take him to get Cam Ward a legitimate wide receiver 1 in Tennessee? I don't know, but it would be really nice if he's on the board. If he's on the board and the Browns don't take him, well, you guys will be tuned in, I'm sure, when we're doing our live draft night show on YouTube, and you'll see how we react if the Browns decide to just completely pass on Carnell Tate. That would not be great at all. All right, let's see. Next voicemail here is from, looks like we got one here from Liam.
What's going on, guys? It's Liam calling in from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I just started listening to the pod. I love it so far. I'm a huge Browns fan, and I never really have anyone to talk about with the Browns, so it's cool that I get to call in with you guys. But what I came in here to say is that I recently saw a mock draft that had the Browns taking David Bailey, the edge rusher from, I think, Texas Tech, at number 6 overall. And me personally, if the Browns take a defensive lineman at pick number 6, I am throwing the remote through the TV draft night. I do not care. That would be the stupidest thing ever, in my opinion. We need a receiver. I'm listening to your guys' episode today where you're talking about the history of Ohio State receivers and how good they are, and you guys are so right about that. Like, if Carnell Tate is there, I think the Browns just need to take him. Like, it cannot be a defensive player. I need to know your guys' thoughts on taking a defensive player, potentially at pick number 6, whether that be another Ohio State Buckeye in Caleb Downs or a defensive lineman. But let me know your guys' thoughts. I'm loving the pod so far.
All right, Liam. Well, thank you. I love all the Canadian listeners out there. You guys, the Browns fans are just everywhere. I love how anywhere you go in the world, you can find diehard Browns fans. And to kind of go to this, Liam, I mean, this whole episode was a mock draft based on if the Browns did go Caleb Downs at 6. I saw that mock draft too. I think it was Mike Miller did the David Bailey to the Browns at 6. And I don't love it. I know he's a good player. I haven't done enough deep dive research on David Bailey. But at the same time, again, I'm not advocating for defense at 6. But if you go and you look at the Browns' current roster status at the defensive end position, you've got Myles Garrett, you've got Alex Wright, you've got Isaiah McGuire, and that is it. Those are the only 3 players on our roster under contract currently at the defensive end position. So our defensive line, I'm telling you guys, when I go through this episode later in the week, you'll see we need help every freaking where on this team. But I'm with you, Liam. The place we need help the most, in my opinion, other than offensive line, is obviously wide receiver. So I think Carnell Tate has been and will continue to be my ideal pick at number 6 if he is available. We'll see. When draft night rolls around, things are going to get real interesting, I'm sure. All right, and the last voicemail I'm going to get to today, because my voice is starting to fail me, is going to be from our buddy Gabriel.
Hello again, Dogs Podcast. I did not mean to say local Buccaneer fan in my previous voicemail, since I'm not from Ohio. I'm from Missouri. Another thing I want to talk about was, what are your thoughts on our upcoming matchup we will have next season, where the Browns will be playing the Buccaneers? I'm intrigued by it just to see how Baker Mayfield plays, and I have a challenge for Brad Moneymaker if he's listening. Brad, here's my challenge. Loser has to serenade the winner in the Discord with a song written about their team. If my team wins, you have to give me a victory song. But if you win, if the Browns win, I will happily make a Browns serenade song. So Brad, that's my challenge if you choose to accept it or not. But anyways, go Browns and go Dogs Podcast.
So we've got a song competition, a song battle bet going on in the Discord. You guys are hilarious. Yes, I'm sure Brad is listening. If not, I will make sure I tag him in Discord later after this comes out, and I'll say, hey, go listen to Gabriel's voicemail. He's got a challenge for you. Don't worry, he'll be in touch. Brad never backs down from a challenge, and he's definitely not a singing challenge. That's for sure. As far as the Buccaneers game goes in 26, one, it's in Tampa Bay. So it's not going to be quite as crazy as if it were in Cleveland, with Baker Mayfield coming back into Cleveland. I think that would be way more interesting of a matchup. But still, nevertheless, going there, playing against them, I mean, it's hard for me to pick the Browns right now in any game, really, without knowing what we're doing, who our quarterback. We don't even know who our defensive coordinator is as of me recording this. We still haven't freaking hired anybody. Like, I don't know. We got a lot of work to do this offseason to build things up and get ready for Todd Monken's first year as a head coach in the NFL. We'll see how it goes, but I am excited. I'm not one of those people that hates Baker Mayfield or is glad he's not here or anything. I always liked Baker. And while I understood the reason to move on from him at the time they did it, doesn't mean I don't enjoy flipping on the game on Sundays and seeing Baker out there with Tampa Bay balling out. So it's good stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure he'll be very amped up to beat us. Although when the first time the Browns played against him after he left Cleveland when he was in Carolina, we beat them. But, oh man, I feel horrible. I feel like crap. I feel so bad, and now I still have to go in here and read this message from Venti. But I can do it. I can power through. So, Venti says, taking Ruben Bain at 6 is a perfect example of the unthought out brain fart of an idea I have come to expect from you. Listen, Venti, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even need to, I haven't read the rest of this message yet, guys, so I'm just going to stop already and address this. If Ruben Bain Jr. is on the board at 6, don't think for a second that the Browns aren't going to be having conversations. Okay? He's a legit player. He's one of your top prospects in this draft class. There will be a conversation around that. Venti goes on, says, other than a generational talent, which I don't think anyone is calling Bain a generational talent, a defensive player at 6 would be a horrible move. I'm sure you love this episode. With the possible exception of Downs. Okay, well, we're there. I might be able to be talked into taking Downs at 6 if both Tate and Lemon were gone, but that is only because I am not completely sold on any of these O-linemen being worth a top 10 pick yet. I'm kind of there with you, Venti. I like Maui Goa, and I like Spencer Fano, but I keep saying is the gap between them and the next tier of tackles, the Monroe Freeling that I took at 24, which I really like Monroe Freeling. I would rather get Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon at 6 than mess around with, like Concepcion or Boston later. Like, I'd feel better taking the tackle later, but that's just me. But anyway, so Venti goes on, says, plus, how much fun would it be to see Downs join Ward, Campbell, and Delpit in our secondary? That's what I said, yeah. If there isn't an offensive player that they like at 6, which I think will be highly unlikely, trading back and acquiring more draft capital is by far the best option. Picking up a first-round pick for next year in case Shedeur falls on his face this year, or even picking up a second-round pick for this year would be much better than going defense at 6. Now that Njoku's officially gone, tight end is a major need as well. Even if we sign a tight end in free agency, we will still need to draft a tight end to pair with Fannin. Wow, Venti, look at that, man. We are agreeing on stuff. That's why I took Max Clare in this mock draft. If we trade back and pick up an extra second-round pick, we could address wide receiver, O-line, and tight end all in the first 3 rounds. Okay, Venti, not such a bad email from Venti here today. We're actually agreeing on some things. We're actually seeing things eye to eye. And I just think that you're underselling how good of a prospect Ruben Bain is. But again, I was just using that as an example of what the Browns could possibly be considering and talking about at that pick 6. But I'm with you. I am with everybody else who left voicemails today, Thrilla and everybody. Get me Carnell Tate. And if you can't get Tate, I really, really, really like Mekhi Lemon. I do. Let's do it. Let's finally get a wide receiver 1 on this Cleveland Browns team. And I think I got enough voice left here. I got one more message from the website. This one is from Benji. He says, "What's up, dogs? I would call in, but I don't like the way I sound. So here I go typing this out." I don't like the way I sound today either, Benji. Oh, I feel like crap. But Benji says, "I just got done listening to the wide receiver and the mock draft episodes, and I want Tate at 6 if he's available, and I hope he is. But then I would want an offensive lineman with our second first-round pick. Whatever pick that is, I can't remember. It's 24. It is pick 24. But as a Hoosier fan," okay, Benji's a Hoosier fan, "watching almost all the IU games this year, I want Omar Cooper Jr. in all caps." Me too, Benji. I do too. That's why I drafted him today and in the last one. I love Omar Cooper Jr. He says, "I don't care where we get him. I just want him. I thought as a wide receiver, he was better than his teammate Surratt this year, even though Surratt was our go-to if we needed a crucial catch to move the chains. Cooper has the explosive quick twitch movement that made him hard to guard, paired with his deep threat speed, and I think he's someone Cleveland has been looking for as a really good 2 to pair with Tate as our 1, and I still don't want Judy on the field anymore." Thank you for the message, Benji. I love it when you guys send in your voicemails and your messages. I agree. I think if you came out of this draft with Carnell Tate and Omar Cooper Jr., whoo, baby, that would be awesome. I would be excited about that, and I could really get on board with what we're trying to do here in 2026. So let me know what you guys think, and send in, I guess, some more voicemails to play later this week. So if you sent some in and you haven't heard them yet, I haven't forgotten about you. I'll get to them. I can't do any more today. I feel like a smoker today. I can't do it. But stay tuned. Keep sending in your stuff. Love hearing from you guys. Let me know what you think about the mock draft. And thanks for gutting it out with me today as I do this with the flu or whatever the heck I have. And yeah, it's been a ton of fun, but I appreciate you guys bearing with me. Go to jointhedogs.com if you want to be part of the Dog Pack community, hang out with the diehard Browns fans in there, see what's going on with this singing battle challenge between Brad and Gabriel. This is going to be great. I'm excited to see how this plays out. I think Brad will be the one doing the song, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so thank you guys again tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the NFL draft? And in other sports, will the Cavs make the NBA playoffs? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade 100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right?